This is Mac OS Ken.
India makes way for more manufacturing. Apple settles a Siri suit. And button, who's got the button battery warning? It is Tuesday, the 7th of January, 2025. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSCan. Things look to be humming along in Apple's next China. Bloomberg ran a piece Monday that had the government in India plotting a course for more tech manufacturing on the subcontinent. That includes a 1-2 combo of offering incentives and reducing tariffs. On the offering side, the piece says the Ministry of Electronics and IT proposed giving manufacturers of components like batteries and camera parts at least 230 billion rupees, $2.7 billion US, in support. As for the tariffs, the report says the ministry also recommended reducing tariffs on some electronic components, an industry demand that will help bring down production costs. The news comes compliments of secret people. Secret people, not good at keeping secrets. The proposals are apparently being kicked around now. If approved, Bloomberg says details may be announced in the government's upcoming budget in February. Neither India's Ministry of Electronics and IT nor its finance ministry offered comment for the report. HomeKit compatibility should be a simpler thing from now on. Likely tied to this week's Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, a piece from 9 to 5 Mac says Apple has agreed to accept Matter certification for all new devices without requiring additional testing before granting the Works with Apple Home badge. Atsamada? According to a Wikipedia post, Matter is a freely available connectivity standard for smart home and Internet of Things things. It aims to improve interoperability and compatibility between different manufacturers and security. Before Matter, third parties that wanted their devices to work with systems made by Amazon, Apple, Google, and whoever else had to tailor their products for and submit their products to each manufacturer individually for approval. 9 to 5 Mac says Apple has now agreed to accept Matter certification as proof of HomeKit compatibility without the need for additional testing. Provided a product passes all the Matter tests, Apple will allow it to use the Works with Apple Home badge. Oddly, Apple seems to be earlier than others on this one. An announcement from the Connectivity Standards Alliance says Google and Samsung will be doing the same for their respective Works with Google Home and Works with SmartThings certifications later this year. Apple's paying $95 million to make a lawsuit go away. Late last week, Engadget ran a piece that had the Cupertino company agreeing to settle a class action suit over privacy tied to Apple's virtual assistant. According to the piece, the lawsuit stemmed from a 2009 report that Apple quality control contractors could regularly hear sensitive information accidentally recorded by the voice assistant's "Hey, you" feature. The clips were said to include medical information, criminal activities, and even sexual encounters. Plaintiffs in the case had argued that inadvertently recorded mentions of Nike Air Jordans and Olive Garden restaurants led to receiving ads for those products. Another said he got ads for a brand name surgical treatment after discussing that treatment with his doctor. Now, I think you know I am as cynical as the next guy, maybe more so, but isn't it possible that these people were all talking about the products after seeing ads about them, then started noticing the ads because they had been talking about them? While Apple's $95 million might seem like an admission of guilt, not in this country, pal. A piece from 9 to 5 Mac had Apple offering clarification on Monday. According to a company spokesperson, Siri has been engineered to protect user privacy from the beginning. Our virtual assistant, because they say that name all through this, our virtual assistant data has never been used to build marketing profiles, and it has never been sold to anyone for any purpose. Apple settled this case to avoid additional litigation so it can move forward from concerns about third-party grading that we already addressed in 2019. We use the virtual assistant data to improve the virtual assistant, and we are constantly developing technologies to make the virtual assistant even more private. So how much money for people potentially eavesdropped upon? You will be shocked to find it is very little. According to Engadget, people in the US who owned a Siri-enabled mobile product from mid-September 2014 through the end of 2024 might get up to $20 per device. Of course, they won't get that automatically. Engadget says would-be participants will have to join the class action, and it isn't yet clear how to do that. Apple's put new warning labels on, in, and around AirTags. You may remember the button battery battle a few years back. Folks had concerns that AirTags were easy for kids to open. Get one open and the battery pops right out. Kid puts that in their mouth, and that can lead to serious trouble. First, there is the obvious choking hazard, but on top of that, a post on Wikipedia says an ingested battery reacts with bodily fluids, such as mucus or saliva, creating a circuit which can release an alkali that's strong enough to burn through human tissue. In March of last year, a law went into effect in the US that required devices with button cells to carry warning labels both on the box and on the device. And guess what Apple failed or forgot to do? A post last week from the Consumer Product Safety Commission said since the law went into effect in mid-March of 2024, AirTags did not have the required on-product and on-box warnings concerning the severe risk of injury from battery ingestion if these small batteries are not kept out of reach of children. These warnings are there now, according to the Commission. Additionally, Apple has taken an additional step. Because the number of units were sold without the required warnings and to assist consumers in the future, the Commission says Apple has updated the instructions that appear in the Find My app each time a user is prompted to change the AirTag battery to now include a warning about the hazards of button and coin cell batteries. So, teach your toddler to read those, and we should be good. Spotted a couple of weeks ago in activity logs, now available for you. Mac Rumors says Apple started the first full week of 2025 with a pair of teeny tiny OS updates. Out now are iOS and iPadOS 18.2.1. Release notes are sparse for these, simply saying that the updates provide important bug fixes and are recommended for all users. No security fixes included, according to Apple's security release site. Apple Intelligence will fix inaccurate notification summaries, according to a headline from iDownload blog. Funny thing is, that headline may have been written by Apple Intelligence since it is incorrect. Apple Insider seems to have been a bit more on the money with its headline. Apple's fix for bad AI notification summaries won't actually improve results. You may remember the problem from a few weeks ago. That was when Apple Intelligence summarized a BBC report saying that Luigi Mangione, the guy arrested for shooting the CEO of United Healthcare back in December, had shot himself. Didn't happen. Also worth noting, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was not arrested last November, despite an Apple Intelligence summary saying that had happened. Apple's plan? Make sure you know that when you're reading an AI summary, it is an AI summary. According to Apple Insider, rather than promise to make notification summaries better, Apple has shared through a statement to the BBC that it will make it more clear when AI is used to generate a notification summary. The fix is meant to ensure users know that what they see may not be 100% accurate. According to the statement, also shared with Ars Technica, Apple Intelligence features are in beta, and we are continuously making improvements with the help of user feedback. A software update in the coming weeks will further clarify when the text being displayed is summarization provided by Apple Intelligence. If that's not good enough for you, Apple Insider suggests you go to Settings, then Notifications, then Summarize Notifications. There you can either turn off the feature entirely or choose which apps will use notification summaries. If you've got an Apple Watch Series 4 or a 2019 15-inch MacBook Pro, take it easy on them. A piece from Mac Rumors says both have been put on Apple's list of vintage products. Off the market for more than 5 years but less than 7, Apple and its authorized service providers will offer support for vintage devices, provided there are parts available to do so, so take it easy on them. Or maybe consider an upgrade. And finally today, it has a whiff of putting a thumb on the scale, but Apple subsidiary Shazam is taking an educated guess at 50 breakout artists for 2025. According to a piece from Apple Insider, the audio identification service has announced what it's calling Shazam Fast Forward 2025. Over 5 days, beginning yesterday, the company is setting out its predictions for artists who will break through into the mainstream in the next 12 months. Every day this week, Monday through Friday, the service is highlighting 10 artists. Monday started with dance, today is Latin. They'll be followed by country and rock on Wednesday, pop on Thursday, and hip-hop and R&B on Friday. Now I say it's got a whiff of putting a thumb on the scale because Shazam is owned by Apple. Apple owns Apple Music. Seems like the one could influence the other and vice versa. That said, Apple Insider points out people Shazam tunes all the time, presumably when they like them, less so when they don't. That could certainly offer insight. Not surprisingly, they're also offering Apple Music playlists featuring the highlighted artists. I haven't listened to all of it yet, but the first few dance tracks are pretty kickin'. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Leonard likes this post.